Welcome back to Parenting Pearls from the Parsha. This week's Parsha, we have an interesting scenario. As parents and leaders or teachers, we often feel a certain geschmack from catching someone doing the wrong thing. And that's actually a terrible thing, to be quite honest. But the natural instinct when you see someone cheating on a test, or a child you know is not telling you the truth, is to point it out to that child. And Parsha's told us, Esav sells his Bechorah, his firstborn right, to Yaakov for a bowl of soup. And in the moment, when you're starving, you're hungry, it's somewhat understandable that he would make that mistake. However, the Torah tells us that after he is full, after he made that mistake, he doubled down on his mistake, and he says, Vayivas. He made fun of that firstborn right. Esav cushions his despair of making the biggest colossal mistake in spiritual life that has existed. He cushions that by rejecting the entire Torah, rejecting everything that it's worth, and making fun of it. In this week's Parsha, you see a very different Esav, where Yaakov comes back to Eretz Yisrael, and it says that Esav picks up and he moves with his family because of Yaakov, his brother. And Rashi says, why did he move? Why did he pick up? Because of his humiliation of seeing, oh my goodness, what did I give up? Oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed about this colossal mistake that I did make. And he recognizes that. So what changed? What changed in Esav that in this week's Parsha he's able to see and recognize the mistake that he made? What's interesting is my Rabbi, Rav Chinuch Libu, it said that in the moment when he sold that Bechorah to Yaakov, he had the ability, he should have, once he filled up his stomach, he should have and he could have recognized the mistake that he made. But he was in the moment, and it was so in his face, he couldn't do it. The Sefer Shlomo by Rav Walkin gives a possible explanation of why in this week's Parsha, Esav is humiliated by his action. He says that in this week's Parsha, Esav marries someone named Basmas. Basmas, Chazal say, another name for her was Machalas. Machalas comes from the word mechila, for being forgiven. The Chazal say that when someone gets married, the day of their wedding is like Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, a day when you get complete atonement, completely forgiven, all your past sins get wiped away. And Esav gets remarried, and his sins get wiped away, and then, only then, is he able to reflect on his past deeds. And when he does that, he sees this tremendous mistake that was made. And he's able to reflect. And the humiliation that endures from that, he picks his family up and moves away from Yaakov. You see from here a tremendous lesson in parenting and in social dynamics. When you catch somebody red-handed, when you point out their mistake and make it front and center to them, they retreat. They dig deeper in their hole. They don't turn around and say, yeah, thank you for catching me for cheating on that test. I'm going to do better now. No, the opposite. They double down on it. They're caught red-handed. They try to show you why their hands aren't red. And the opposite is when you're able to say, oh, you're such a great person. Wonderful. Wow. See those wonderful things that you do and accomplish, and I'm hoping that you carry that on. People then are able to say, hey, I'm better than this. I could step up. I can do better. They're able to self-assess and reflect. When you catch someone doing the wrong thing, really, really think, is there another way that I can accomplish my goal other than this head-on direct confrontation? Yes, sometimes that confrontation is needed, but very often we lose sight on winning the battle and we lose the war. It's very important. Keep your eye on the long-term goal. Let this individual, this child, save face. Give them an out. Give them the opportunity to walk away with their pride. And in doing so, they'll be able to self-reflect. They'll be able to have that proper remorse. They'll be able to understand their mistake and actually grow from it, as opposed to dig themselves deeper and not accept your rebuke. There's 3 takeaways that I want to take away from this. Number 1, there's a natural reaction of someone to become defensive when you're critical of their behavior. Number 2, rationalizations pose an obstacle in allowing someone to self-reflect. Number 3, sometimes to help a child learn how to self-assess and self-reflect, we need to step aside and not directly confront them head on and not lock horns with them and point out what's wrong, to give them the freedom to be able to come to that recognition on their own. I hope that you found this insightful, and I'm wishing you a wonderful Shabbos and Hatzlacha on your journey as a parent.